Liga LATAM, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you guys are having a great week so far. Enjoying this gorgeous February day. How are you doing, Jorge? What are
Sorry,
you
man.
multitasking right now, this guy?
All right. So first of all, I mean, why would you stop and see this program? Well, because we love video games. We're game developers, and we love Latin America, dude.
That is true. That is true.
So we have devoted our life. I started like trying to do video games in 2004 when there was nothing in Mexico regarding that, and because we wanted to do that, we built this community named Cara Oculta. Then it became a studio, and it was bought by Amber, and now we're 282. Maybe next week 252. Sadly.
Well, that's for another topic. I
That's
guess,
for another
unfortunately.
topic. And this is my dear friend Robert. Talk about why should people be hearing you, man? I mean, why spend their valuable attention in you, man?
I think it's a good opportunity for one to kind of understand what's going on in the gaming space here in Latin America. Two, things that are coming up, trends that affect us, and how we're able to not only provide support and also help out people out. It's a good way to find out the trends here in Latin America, find out what we could offer, what we're able to provide, not just amongst ourselves, but globally as well.
Yeah. Buenas tardes, Tony Beltran. Welcome, Tony Beltran. This day, Thursdays are in English. League of Latin is in English because my dear Robert actually speaks very good English. And there's another thing that you didn't mention, dude, is that you've been working with developers for quite a long time. So you know the market. You were born in the States, but are like a total Mexican dude. My wheels of steel brother.
I love birria, tequila, mariachi, so yeah, I speak English, but
Right.
Mexican roots.
And combining English and Spanish is sexy right now, I guess.
It is.
Sí,
It is.
no, claro que sí, a huevo.
Sí, sí, claro. La cosa es entender las dos culturas, entonces saber
Right.
cómo se mueve aquí en México y también cómo se mueve allá con los gringos. Entonces,
On the other hand, why did we started doing this on a weekly basis? Because we wanted to share with you guys well, we're trying to document what we're doing, and because we want to share how interesting is LATAM for everybody who wants to be developing software and obviously developing video games, which is our passion.
correct, that is true, that is true. So today we wanted to talk about collaboration, the importance,
The importance of
collaboration
collaboration.
in Latin America, and
We got some other points that we've been looking at, so please just leave your questions. Pongan sus preguntas, carnales, ahí. Tony, gracias por estar aquí, buenas tardes. Pongan sus preguntas, todas las que tengan, por favor, y ahorita nos van a hacer el paro en producción y vamos a tratar de contestarlas. Either in English or in Spanish, because we hopefully will have more Latin American people that's actually living in the States, who are actually developing video games. Have you seen this awesome Twitter account? And there's like a whole association for Latinx organization. So it's all the Latin American guys, not just from Mexico. Come on, from all
Yeah,
all our
well,
brothers from Latin America, Colombian, Uruguayan.
buenas,
Raimundo,
buenas.
buenas, right? Welcome to League of Latin. League of Latam. What's up? Sorry. All right. So we were gonna speak about the importance of collaboration. So I guess there might be this preconception of. I want to discuss something with you about this topic. You know, is there like, do you think Latin American developers or companies actually collaborate a lot in between each other? So I mean, let's just face it, dude. As a Mexican, check the sports that we're good at.
In between each other, you know, it's tough. Speaking honestly, I think within Latinos, within Latin America, I think it's a zero. Sometimes we often think it's a zero-sum game, and there's not enough for everyone.
Which is kind of crazy, right?
Which is sad. So sometimes we won't collaborate. We often live sometimes.
Dude, that's a great point to discuss. Let me write it down. So the zero-sum game versus the infinite game of
Correct.
mindset. So it's like the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. So in Latin America, I think that because of adversity, you know, we're always playing PvE, player versus environment, not PvP. So we are like really creative. I think that we, in a way, we have a growth mindset, although we have a scarcity mindset. So.
Well, I mean, So I love my mom. I love her to death, and I also think, unfortunately, that our culture raises us on fear sometimes. That hey, don't tell this person your idea because they're gonna steal it. So collaboration is tough sometimes working within Latino American communities or companies because I think we're afraid that they're gonna steal our contacts,
Our shit.
our share, or
as
our
if it
pie.
was like that important. And you grew up in Silicon
And I grew
Valley,
up in
man,
Silicon
which
Valley,
is
so-
exactly the other way around. Pay it forward, share everything, help everyone.
In Silicon Valley, you could be in a coffee shop and you could be talking, and it's happened. There's stories that million dollar, multi-million dollar companies,
Right.
billion dollar companies
Dude, I've seen that.
that start a coffee shop and start because someone overheard someone else speaking about that they need this, that they're lacking this talent, and they collaborate. In Mexico, specifically, being a Mexican American and having my roots here in Mexico, I think sometimes we live off fear and we live that someone's going to take it away from us. So we kind of have to break those boundaries, those barriers, so that we can start collaborating together. I think that there's a lot of great talented people in studios here, not just in Mexico but in Latin America. But we have to be able to work together, and I think we got to be able to support each other and not
Close our minds and let's just take a look at this. So we were going to work together. Now you have your own studio because we were not able to just work together, and we're working together again.
Right,
we
right,
just
right.
found a place, a space, something to do together. When did we have this idea? Which is up there at the UEC,
late last year.
right?
Late last year. I mean, it was just something that
We
they
should
came
be
and
doing
asked.
content in English for Latin American people, or for people who speaks English and doesn't know about Latin America's boom in the software industry and
And then
gaming.
gaming, and the thing is that Latin America is an untapped resource.
Yeah,
Really,
I
if
do
you really
feel
look at it,
so.
Latin America is an untapped resources. The good thing about
But when they think about us, they think about the narcos thing, and the first thing that I totally understand it because it's just like culturally, I guess, sexy, or I don't know. It might be the TV series or
It's
something.
marketing itself.
I mean, it's not something that I live. It's not something that I am proud of. I don't think you are either. But it's the thing that sells the most, man. And also the news, the freaking news. It's just like, obviously, I mean, I was trying to compare like the. I mean, I'm not just like, I don't want to throw crap at any city or anything, but violence, it's super violent, and then you compare it to the index of violence in other cities in the States or something, and you go like, well, the number doesn't compute as the most violent city compared to the ones that we got in the States.
Like they say, if it bleeds, it leads. So any story with crime, it definitely gets more shares, more reactions. But going back to the gaming, I think we have to be able to really work. Like you said, unfortunately, we weren't able to collaborate together at Amber, but we were able to still support each other and work.
And it's gonna happen,
find ways
dude.
that it's gonna happen.
I got some news for you.
Well, that's TBT to next week. But it's going great. There's enough for everyone. You have a big studio like Amber, who's awesome. It's awesome.
Tony Beltran, some souvenir when you started here. So are you talking about like Amber? Do we have like a welcome package kind of thing? Well, yeah, we got the Amber gear, and we give it away when they start working over here, and also in certain events, and they receive what I call the Sword and the Shield ritual, which is a special jacket in the first year. Sorry for interrupting. All right, go.
No, so God, maybe.
Sorry, dude.
No, don't worry about it. But it's I think I was talking about.
How should we answer that? Should I be interrupting you or not? If someone asks something, should we just
just
stop
quickly,
our
right?
train of thought?
What I need to do is take notes so I can figure out what I left off. That'll be my next gig next week. But there's stuff for everyone. There's people who want to be independent. There's people who want to work in a major studio like Amber.
Right.
Or might want to work in smaller
A
studios.
major studio. Well, that's flattering, dude.
A big studio, a big global studio. How's that? Better?
Thank you, but yeah, well, there's a long way to go.
But so there's enough for everyone. I think you have to be able to find a niche. it'll be able to also how you work.
I, I believe we also meet a lot of other people actually trying to do their studios. This is the moment, guys. I mean, take a look at Amber, right? So they found us, our small indie studio, KO, Caraculta. They bought it. So it's the first time ever I know. I'm 46, right? And I kind of try to follow the video game industry in Latin America because I'm from here, right? And I have devoted my life to it. So I've never seen like an international company actually come to a location, buy a studio. I mean, I've seen it in other markets, but not in the Mexican market. I think that's a primary here. So, yeah, I think that changes the way things are done, and I'm really grateful to everybody at Amber that actually did that. But that changes also the dynamic. That means that you have more chances than me to do an indie studio, kind of successful, even if it doesn't have like a super successful product. If you have a really tight team delivering service, you're profitable in a way. I mean, it could be an option to just work with Amber or be acquired by someone else that's not Amber, dude. I mean, you've been working for clients by now. You have managed to put together a super cool team and represent them and talk about it, because I think your story is getting much more interesting.
But give me 1 second. I'm gonna share this with a few people so they can jump on it.
Yeah, I gotta share.
So, yes, I've had the opportunity, but it takes a long time. It takes a long time networking. It takes a long time understanding and talking to people who know what they're talking about, who are knowledgeable. The small studio that Jorge said, my co-founder of mine, Reyes, who is taught, was taught classes here at Amber and Arden for Unreal, is a technical artist. And we have pulled some of the guys who have learned from us, who are interns, and they're doing great work for us. They're doing amazing work for us right now, helping us with some IP on a VR game. So is it perfect? Is it perfect timing? Yeah, it is. I think it is. But you got to be patient. You can't just think that you're going to start a startup and the bucks are going to come in and it's you start growing that network. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to get up again. Just keep going at it.
And let's just face it, this is not for everyone. I mean, you got to go from failure to failure, find money. If you cannot invest money, you have to find someone that invests the time along with you. So I just remember that when I started, I had no money, man. I still have no money, but people invest their time. No, I mean, we do have money right now. But at the beginning, there was a lot of people actually investing in the vision, in actually really caring about the fact that we could be building an actual company that's distinguished and a place where they really wanted to belong because they believe in what they were building, right? Like either services and products for people devoted to doing something fun, a game, it's just that. I know it's hard because, you gotta live out of something, right?
I get it, man. You just started, it's hard. I'm making sure that my guys are getting paid before I do.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
which sucks in a way, but also I think, you are super bright, and you also, let's just face it, you gotta find a way. I remember that I drove an Uber. I had my apartment in Airbnb because I wasn't able, I needed more money to keep just nurturing the studio. So I slept with like strangers, I just took care of their laundry and shit, and then I drove a freaking Uber in order to maintain my dream, which was a game studio, right? So whatever you need to do, it's just, even if you have like a 9-to-5 job, right now, the thing that really excites me the most is the fact that there are other jobs from other studios right now being offered in the market. That's amazing. That didn't happen in 2004. There were no studios over here. So.
No, man.
Right.
So what do you think is the biggest benefit in Latin America? Whether it's gaming, whether it's development, what is the collaboration that Latin America is the biggest thing you think? Because obviously, our situations are different. I came from the U.S. to here.
Right.
You were from here to the U.S. So
Dude,
it was
what?
across.
Right, that's so
It's, you know,
interesting.
it's interesting because it's
I was living here. I lived here all my life, and then I went to live over there. And you lived over there all your life, and then you
Now
came
came
back
to
to
live over here.
Mexico, and you stayed.
yeah.
I couldn't stay. It was way too fucking expensive. Sorry, it was way too expensive, and I wasn't able to afford it. You know, earning pesos and spending dollars in Redwood City.
Redwood City,
Oh, shit, man.
which is San Mateo County, which is one of the most
Right.
expensive in the country. So
Yeah.
it's a pain in the butt. I mean, but no. But what I meant is you went from here to the States,
Right.
and I went from here. I went from the States to here to Mexico, right on.
Yeah.
When you talk about collaboration, we can see now. You know, you and I can see the whole 360. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Maybe.
So what do you think U.S. companies are looking for, or what is Mexico or developers or gaming? From your side,
Right, from my
what do you guys-
perspective.
what do you think you have to offer to?
All right, big disclaimer over here. Just production, just put the big disclaimer over here, the small letters. This is my opinion. This is not Amber's or whatever. It's just like it's important, right, guys? Yeah, I do believe that what we can offer, that's a differentiator. That's super interesting. First of all, I mean, as a business dude, if you're from the States, if you're like a publisher or someone in the studio that's actually looking for awesome talent, affordable talent in the same time zone. So everything regarding the whole nearshore thing, right? Nearshore, yeah. The nearshore situation. We share. I mean, you can just take a flight, a 3-hour flight or something, 3 hours and a half, and you're in LA and Frisco, right? So you can be here with your production team. I mean, it's a low percentage, but there's a lot of people that actually speaks English good enough to get in trouble at least. Western values, I think that's different. If you hire Indians, and which I love all my fellow friends Indians, I love you all and whatever. But I mean, let's just talk about Latin America. It's a completely different culture, and then you go into the super like deep strategic structural stuff. I do believe that what we can offer is creative kind of vision, obviously cost. I know, so we might be cost. I mean, the cost of us might be just about, in some cases, depending on the discipline, a third. In some cases, half of what everybody is earning in the States, which is much more expensive than in India and other places maybe, but it all depends, again, on the type of quality, communication, etc., the rest of the system, of the business system that you set up over here, or that is set up over here to take care of you over there in the States. I think that's important. One of the things that we can give is not seniority, because we're in a merchant market on the gaming industry. So whenever you come over and you want to just like buy all the seniors, it's impossible because there aren't many, that many, right? So why? Because we have never had like a huge player of the industry actually come over. So those have got to be developed. By whom? Well, by someone that cares about their people like Amber, which is why I actually got acquired by them and I sold my company to them, and I love my business partners. I freaking love Amber.
So what about? Let me ask you another question. So, what stereotypes do you have to break when American companies want to go work with you being here in Mexico? Or what they might have to break in Colombia, Chile,
Right.
Argentina, South
Right.
America?
Well, some of the I do believe that some of the stereotypes are also like defined, and because they're true, right? I mean, it's just like it's like the concept of ahorita. Have you ever heard the ahorita from a Mexican dude? It might be from a Latin American thing.
Is it now? Is it
Right?
later?
Is it now?
Right
Is
now?
it later? So what is ahorita? If a Mexican tells you ahorita te lo doy, it's just I'm gonna give it to you in a moment.
Whenever I feel like it. pretty
Whenever
much.
I feel like it. So I also define like ahorita. That's a Mexican definition, by the way. Ahorita, it's a quantum space in between now and forever. So that's freaking ahorita. So just be careful with that, because we got problems with time. I mean, let's just face it. Or at least I do. I mean, I know that there are like many super awesome pros everywhere in the world, but yeah, we Mexicans have some problems with time.
But so just time. What else?
Well, I do believe that also, since we don't have a lot of seniors, we gotta earn everybody's trust that we can get shit done. And that's totally fair, you know? I mean, fair, right? We are not seniors, but we compensate it with energy, enthusiasm, time, when you don't have money or seniority or just lack of knowledge. If you have got someone that pours his whole heart into their job and work, I mean, by now I see like in all like first world countries and wherever the game industry is consolidated, everybody's like super jaded. What is Quark signing? Hola Mau, te mando un beso. NDAs, dude.
Parcero,
Parcero,
saludos.
un abrazo. Hey, felicidades. Ya te vimos que diste el anillo. Te mandamos un besillo. Ahorita, right now, viera. Sí. Well, yeah. The problem is that when we use it, viera. Is it really right now? Ahorita te lo doy. And then 5 minutes, just
Ahí nos esperamos.
that's over. I mean, I believe that that's a Mexican problem. And then again, one of the opportunities, again, one of the downsides is that we don't have the experience. One of the upsides is that we don't have the experience. So we're naive enough to just try shit, man. I see so many. I mean, a lot of my lovely colleagues that I know right now, they have just lost all hope. I mean, they just translate it to experience and they go like, that cannot be done. And you go like, why not, dude? Obviously,
what's stopping you?
in your
What's stopping
freaking
you?
ignorance, right? In your ignorance, why not?
There's a better way to do it. There's a better way
There
to
might
do
be
it.
a better way to do it, but they're so used to doing it the way that they have done it before, which is usually with a bunch of money and a lot of talented people. And you go like, yeah, well, we still turn on the broken car with a sock, right?
With sock. You know, and one of the things that you say about
we're
that,
super scrappy though.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it is cool. I mean, but sometimes
but it works.
It works,
I
right?
have, you know, what you just said, that lack of knowledge or that lack of experience or that ignorance, however you want to define it, I think, you know, when we work with a client, they asked us, hey, can you guys do this? We just say, yeah, we'll figure it out.
we don't know.
You know, we'll say, yeah, we just say, yeah, and hey, you know what? We'll spend all night just trying to figure it out.
Which is super risky in a way. I mean,
It is.
let's just
It
also
is
say it as it is. And we get it. But then again, the guys that are senior now, they had the chance too. They had to figure it out also. And now they are the ones guiding us. I always make this analogy that somehow I understand that right now we are the muscle and the senior guys everywhere in the world are the brains. And I'm super flattered and really thankful that you guys are leading us to get there, because eventually that muscle is going to have the experience, it's going to have their fuck ups. Even though we have like a lot of seniority and people in the team, we still fuck it up sometimes, right? And we just try to compensate as much as possible with time, enthusiasm, and one major weapon that we have got over here is optimism, and that's cultural.
That is true. Very true. Very true. What do you see collaboration with Latin America in the future?
That's a good question. Well, I see some movements in the market that are kind of interesting. So you see, like, there's this awesome studio led by this guy, Martin Cao, and other guys in Argentina that I really admire and love. They got acquired by Embracer. And now they're growing. I do believe that there's going to be more companies like Amber and Embracer and some others that are going to figure out how to start giving services with a component of Latin American guys in their teams. So, and I think that's going to grow somehow besides the industry and flowing money just also into these emerging markets. In the future, that's going to become a critical mass, that's going to be big enough to actually call it an industry that works and that could start evolving in a different way. And maybe, why not? If we keep on buying the lottery ticket of actually doing your IP and putting it out there, which is, I mean, the dream of everybody, right? And it's super difficult, and we all know that we got like statistics against us. We still keep on buying the ticket, right? If you get the money from doing services and you keep them growing by doing someone else's ideas a reality, and they start monetizing it, you learn from your clients too, which is amazing, and we're really thankful that you're giving us your business, right? And I don't know, for example, Scott Humphreys. I admire Scott Humphreys. He's our global leader for product. He's a machine, man. I mean, he leads everyone. He leads all the studios, and he's right now at DICE, giving a conference or selling over there. You know, it's just like that's another thing that I love about the video game industry. I mean, we somehow just get to know each other, or we all know each other because it's not like it's a small industry. Everybody says it's a small industry. No, it's not. It's just the fact that we are always there and we're just like sharing with the same people that we love, and automatically, which is what happened to you and me. We just fell in love right away with each other in this freaking bromance because it's like good vibes. You love what I love what you love. You know, Mauricio was with you. Now he's our head of ops in Colombia and all that shit. And I don't know. I just like you guys. I like to be with you. I learn. I work, and since my work is my passion and yours too, dude. What's
to go wrong?
Right.
And like you said, I think that compassion and that love obviously comes from confianza and working together
Right.
and having each other's back.
Trust. It's hard to earn trust. Let's just face it.
Well, and once you lose it, it's
Freaking hard to regain it.
and Scott met the dude last year. Great guy, love tequila. When you're in Guadalajara again, maybe we could take a few shots together.
Yeah. Mauricio, when are you coming over, dude? We gotta find a way to bring you over.
I think the future of collaboration in Latin America might be really almost studios focusing on what they're good at.
Yeah. That reminded me about Nimble Giant. I was talking about this Argentinian studio. Sorry, Classical Brothers.
Classic Jorge.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are growing, and now they're growing in Uruguay, and they just arrived to Colombia. Streamline also arrived to Colombia. So originally, I think that's the future. A lot of studios that are in Asia or in the States, or like big groups that are trying to consolidate, which is this major trend, obviously, of consolidation in the market. I think that they're just gonna. It's just like logical, right? So we gotta compensate our super high salaries in Montreal in the States with guys that are talented but cheaper. But I mean, to balance that is hard because obviously that's super expensive and everything because they got the experience, and we're cheaper because we don't have the experience. So balancing that out, I think it's a delicate balancing.
It is, and being able to, at the same time, not give the people from Latin America a wage that they can live on,
Right.
thrive,
Right.
and
Which is another thing that we should be talking about. So, living out of the video game industry, living of making video games, because there are many ways to enter the industry. So, yeah, I mean, did you ever think that to enter the industry at the beginning, you had to go through a certain specific route or something? Or?
No, my route was by luck. My route was by luck. A meeting with Eric Coach, who's the head of HD.
HD,
right?
yeah. Big hug
Here
to
at
Eric. Mau, mándale esto a Eric, dile que le mandamos un beso.
Yeah, abrazos. I hope you're doing well in Medellin, Eric. And it was all by chance. It was all really by chance.
Really?
Yeah, I met him.
Is it because of the apartment?
Him and I were living in
Dude,
the same apartment
really?
complex. Right. Him and I were living in the same apartment complex. We talked in the grocery store. We went in. We'd always say hello to each other, but we actually went into depth one day, and he was telling us about Amber and how they're potentially looking for an opportunity to go to Colombia. And I said, perfect.
Dude, that's amazing. So I met you because of Eric.
Correct. And I said, my business partner's in
That's
Medellin. We work together. He asked, what do we do? I said, all types of development. He asked if we knew people with gaming. I said, of course we do. And then from there, the ball started rolling. We met Vito, Catalan, Tudor, Bio,
right.
all through Catalin, all through Zoom calls. We had a great call with Mihai. He came down a week or two later to meet us in Medellin.
Right.
We had a blast. We connected. We were able to hook him up and talk to him and have a good time. And then from there, I mean, that was the quick story. That's but it happened. It was awesome. And that's how we got involved. That's how I got involved, and it was working with cool people, developing with cool people, and just for something, man, that my mom used to tell me, you're wasting your time playing video games. You're wasting your time
Yeah,
playing
well,
video
my
games.
mom is.
And now look,
Yeah, just get a real job, dude, right? Get a real job. Alright, yes, mom.
that was it. That was how I
You know
started.
what's funny? By now, my mom goes like, I always knew you were gonna make it. I was like, no, you didn't.
You hated a bit.
Yeah, of course you didn't. But thank you for believing in me, mom, always.
Yeah. But that's it. I mean, going back really quick because you interrupted me about the
Sorry.
Argentinian gaming company. I think the future for Latin American studios is really kind of focus on what they're good at. If it's animation, if it's 3D, if it's art, if it's development, if it's
Do you really think it's gonna be specialization there?
specialization. I think it is, but I think it's the fact that the studios working together to create kind of a.
Yeah, it takes a village, right?
I think so. I think for us it's going to take a village because, you know, what studio, how many studios do you know here in Latin America who are good at everything?
Well, no, none,
That can produce everything for you.
none.
They always have to go outside and look for
Some
external help,
reinforcements, yeah. External
So
help.
I think one. I think
Well,
one
it all
goes-
depends on the type of game and how big is it, depending on the console, depending on the genre, depending on the quality. I mean, I've seen like some pretty cool studios that can actually do a full game development, but for a casual, small mobile game, maybe. So those are the type of things that I see like a single studio in Latin America doing. And you got some other examples like Nimble Giant and other guys that have actually been successful. You know, like the guys in Uruguay that do these tower defense games. I don't hide, dude. Those guys are awesome. I love their games. So they do everything about it. Publishing, they self-publish. They did everything. I really love those guys.
But it's far and few between, right?
Yeah.
I mean, success stories are great, but
Yeah.
I think collaborating, working
Diamond
together.
does it. Yeah. No, just the other way around, right?
Yeah.
It's just like they're in that vein.
So I think yeah, the studios kind of maybe focusing on what they're good at, and then being able to leverage networks that they have, leverage partners that they have, to kind of be able to sell a whole gaming studio together.
Right. I mean, I do believe that we are like, and that's why when Mihai told me, all right, so what would you like to do? I don't remember if he asked me or he told me what's convenient for you is to try to grow all verticals that we have got in Amber. And I was like, oh God, because I just saw what the whole plan was. I was so excited, Robert. You can't imagine how excited I was, but I was like, oh shit.
Overwhelmed.
Oh shit, this is huge. Am I really gonna be able to do it? And then they were so kind to me just to guide me through the whole thing. In the pandemic, they didn't come over, so everything was virtual, and I was trying to just get everything done. And they also gave us the money. They invested the money, so that's one of the things that I'm most grateful for. I mean, it's just like, here goes a shit ton of money to get this done, George. Please don't. I mean, I'm pretty sure that in some of the partners' mind were like, oh God, are we gonna trust this Latin American dude? Thank you for trusting in me. I hope that this demonstrates that we're worth it.
And opening up the doors to more people, George, for sure.
Well, I try to. I mean, I've been spending my life trying to get to know like people that loves video games and wants to make them. So I've been trying to bring the best that I know. I was not able to bring a lot of the most talented people that I know at the beginning because I didn't have any money. But I mean, if we had the budget and we could offer some interesting project, which is what we did. I fucked up. Okay, great. 3 times my signature there.
Why not?
Right, and yeah, it happened, right? I mean, we just grew from what was it like? There were 15, 30 guys all the way to 250 in 2 years and a half. I think that's something historic that has never been seen before, and that's thanks to everybody at Amber. It's not just us, right? And yeah, some economic macro situations might just make us go smaller and bigger eventually. So yeah, I mean, let's just ride the wave and tell the story.
And what do you think are the next emerging markets here in Latin America?
Oh, that's a good one. You know, I've always thought it's quite simple, right? So we got like these regions that have already been like super studied and fixed up before by the major corporations of the world dedicated to entertainment. It's just like there's like Asia, obviously, which is the video game market number one in the amount of consumption, right? Right. So it's Asia, it's number one. America, and Canada, and the States. America, I believe. Every time I just say America, it's just like United States of America because America is the whole continent, right? So it's Latin America. All right, whatever. It's just like Canada, North America,
Excluding Mexico.
that's including Mexico. Is it excluding Mexico?
No, but I think the market you want to say North America. But
Right, North America. So North America is the second biggest market. The third one is Europe. The fourth one is Latin America, which is like Mexico and everybody south, and then Africa. So it's got to be Africa. Because eventually the muscle's gonna become the brains, you know, and this industry's gonna start consolidating or starting to find some success, whatever, and then who's left, right? I think that's what's gonna happen. And right now, I do believe I've just met so many cool people who has got like an interesting team in studio in places that I've never thought that would have a studio, you know. And I have not just focused in the African market, but I'm pretty sure that there must be some super cool guys already there. And they are for sure cheaper than us, and they are for sure maybe less savvy or less knowledgeable than us in video game development, but still it's cheap, right? So it's just that balancing act again in between like nurturing the juniors and making them mids and seniors.
But that's a reflection of the mirror, right? I mean, we're able to see ourselves in Latin America and the struggles that they're going through because we're still in it. Not having the knowledge or not having the experience. So maybe being able to reach across the ocean and be like, hey, we can help you out.
Right. And I think it's super convenient. It's not just convenient, it's necessary, right? If you want to keep like the costs going. All right, let me see. Fix your mic. Mauricio, ¿qué se escucha mal o qué es lo que pasa, Mauricio? ¿Se oye bajito? Beto, I barely can hear you.
Is this mic not working?
Habla.
Yo. Better? Is it better now?
Should I put my mic over here? All right.
Maybe.
And we can share. All right, thank you for telling us.
You guys are seeing how the sausage is made.
That's the way things are going. All right, so let's just share this with everybody. All right, guys. Well, that's I brought 50 questions and topics that maybe we could touch, and just by itself, that point, I think it gives.
Collaboration.
The collaboration in Latin America is amazing. One of the things that I would really like to know is, for example, one of the trends and things that has happened over here that I see as an opportunity is the fact that our associations, so for example, the IGDA, International Game Developers Association, has not consolidated over here in Mexico, nor in, well, I don't know if in other countries in Latin America, but I really see like very few associations that could actually represent the most important studios and collaborating in between them. So in Latin America, we have this chat, for example, that right now that's working pretty well. We have our community, but I don't see people from the WhatsApp chat, you know, that just collaborating in KO by now, maybe because it's just way too much of amber. Well, we got 6,700 guys in that group, but one of the things that I see is that they're like just like looking, not engaging that much, just a little bit. On the other hand, we have this WhatsApp group with a lot of studios that are some of the most representative ones, in my point of view, in Mexico right now. A lot of the guys that are going to GDC, a special chat for the Mexicans and people in Latin America that's going to GDC. There's a super strong association in Argentina that I think it's amazing. ADVA, those guys are the ones organizing the EVA. I went to last year's EVA and it was awesome, and I met this super cool bunch of studio owners that I really admire and love, and by now I consider them my friends, and they keep on inviting me over to talk, and that's priceless, and sharing what we're doing. But that's that, man. I mean, the guys from Chile, yeah, I know that they have an association, but I really don't see them that much. Somehow, I'm kind of concerned of the fact, or maybe I'm just doing, I'm not using well social media by now, but I kind of just use it a lot. So I go like, yeah, well, maybe I should be seeing more of them. So I do believe that we lack the cohesion, the leadership to just collaborate and keep it together in an official way through an association. So we can collaborate as friends, and even though we're close and whatever, just sharing leads, sales, or opportunities is kind of hard. And I wish it was easier, but it's something that it's real, it's happening.
But is it are people not sharing those leads or those collaborations? Going back to what we said earlier about not wanting to, that zero-sum game, not wanting to share leads.
That could be it also.
Maybe letting the deal go so no one else takes it.
Right. Live in English. Well, I do think that we got the problem. Yeah, los cangrejitos, no? Right. And there's a story about crabs, Mexican crabs. Maybe you can tell that story, and that's classical over here, right?
The story is basically there's a group. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure we've heard it differently. There's a man fishing. He sees a boy goes and sees this man fishing. He sees two boxes, one is covered up, the other one isn't. The boy asks the fisherman, why is one covered up and the other one not? The man responds, the one covered up is the Mexican, the one not covered up is the Mexican crabs. I don't have to cover them up because when one tries to one tries to go out, the other one's pulling back in.
Exactly.
And the other crab has a lid on it. He says, those are whatever crabs, and he goes, I have to cover them up because if one gets out, they'll start helping each other out, escape. So, it's a story I know that is kind of recycled, not just here in Mexico and Latin America, to kind of be that we're our own worst enemies.
Right. So, and if we saw someone actually having success, instead of being glad and thinking, wow, that's awesome, how can I learn from them, how can I just help them out?
We hate and tear them down.
Yeah, and that's kind of sad. That's another thing that I like about the whole Valley mindset here.
Silicon Valley?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that's, again, strategic, cultural, and something that when it reaches critical mass, oh shit, you can see results right away.
For sure. And it gives you those blueprints.
Yeah, I wish we could repeat it, but I mean, there's only one Silicon Valley. We got to do something different and have our own thing, right? It's that's the way it goes. So I'm sharing this in the groups. Game development, all right. If you're hearing this, please share it. Share it. It would be amazing for us. It's our oxygen. So thank you guys. We're dying to get to know more people that actually loves games and would like to work with us or.
And come say what's up to the GDC.
Yeah, that would be great.
Chill, grab a beer. In San Francisco, maybe grab an In-N-Out. Mission burrito from La Cumbre.
That's awesome. Right. Yeah, alright. This is shared. And, but I think that is changing by now. Now that we have more options and we have more studios in Latin America, I think we're gonna get it. I mean, it's just not a zero-sum game. Although I have heard from someone very important within the organization, stop kidding yourself. Resources, the budget is just like it's a fixed thing. You got to deal with scarcity. I get it. We're Mexicans. We have dealt with scarcity. We understand what scarcity is. It's just that we just cannot lose hope. And I guess that in our own culture is embedded because of that scarcity. The search for happiness through other ways of actually getting options. So I do believe in the infinite game. And the purpose of an infinite game is to just keep on playing. You know, it's just like to prolong the freaking game instead of and creating your own resources and your own options. And so that's why when someone tells me, all right, so there's only like 3 projects. Well, we got to keep on looking for more projects. So that's the thing. It's just, are we going to struggle for the 3 things that we have, or are we just going to do that because we need to and survive? And can we just create more options for everybody else? And that's the real challenge.
And scarcity here in Mexico, Mexico, I think we know how to share. We know how to share. We know how to you know, there's dinner for 3, there's enough for 4, right?
Mm-hmm. I love that one.
There's a saying here in Mexico, there's enough dinner for 3, there's enough for 4. So
right.
We know how to share. We know how to stretch a budget.
O le ponemos más agua a los frijoles.
So we know how to share. I think the scarcity issue is a way just to kind of live in fear, but I think we're able to really, you know, talking about myself and the people I work with, we know how to move things around and make sure that everything's taken care of.
We try at least. I mean, but yeah, I do believe that we can find options, and obviously right now I'm living in I'm just looking at it in a position of abundance, but I'm pretty sure that and abundance, right? Whatever that means. I mean, I'm pretty sure that this is nothing for like the super awesome corporations of the world, but still it's a pretty sweet business game. Business partners, you know, it's everything related to it. I just see growth, and I don't know, it might be like what's the name of it? There's a term for it, like abundance mindset, I guess, or something like that. It's just like selective ignorance, you know. Just as you select what to ignore and what not to be influenced from, you gotta select what are your influences, because you become those. So if you just get along with people who's always talking about scarcity and how finite things are, you actually freaking believe them. And then you just get together with a guy like Mihai, you know, and everything's abundant, and he's just looking 10 years ahead. And I want to be with this guy, you know. It's what kind of person would I like to be? The guy who's always complaining and being the victim of the market and shit, or do I want to change this shit? And I get it, because there's this statistical truth that talks about also like movimiento social, like this capacity to change from your socioeconomic status, like a really low one, right?
Social movement,
right? So social movement is hard over here. It's really, really hard. And so I think it takes about like 4 generations if something happens well in order to just go to middle class and some shit like that, or some statistic about that I read of Mexico. And yes, we have more poor people this year, and it's a reality. But I refuse to just accept that, you know? I just think that when you accept things as they are, even if it's a number, and I'm an engineer, I believe in numbers, I believe in data. It's not just my opinion, but I refuse to just be part of that statistic. Why should I just accept it as the truth, even though if it's normalized and, you know, I know it's real, but then you just take away your chances and your mindset to change it and be part of something different. So, yeah. It might be the reality distortion field that everybody talks about from like the optimist people. But if you don't have that, I do believe you're fucked.
I think you have to be an optimist, and you got to figure solutions out.
Right.
It's as easy as that.
I mean,
problems arise all the time. Figure it out.
Who would have thought that there would be studios in Mexico or Africa or whatever? It's hard? Obviously. It's meant to be hard. It's just like a video game. It's or making a movie. It's meant to be difficult. I mean, it's just freaking hard. If not, everybody would be doing it, right, and being successful. And that's the cool thing about it.
It is definitely.
In my point of view, I mean, that's the cool thing about it. It's freaking hard, and we just pulled it off, you know. And it might, I mean, I don't know, some huge company might kill us later, or sue, or maybe the economy, or having less pesos per freaking dollars. And I have 46 years old. Have you ever seen in your life, like, the peso going stronger against the dollar? That's super weird, right? I mean, it's just like something that I've never thought it could happen in my lifetime.
Tell me about it. I'm over here hearing it from everyone right now. So,
It's crazy, dude. It's just
crazy.
freaking crazy. And now Mexicans are more expensive than before. I mean, who would have thought? And
it's by $1 or $2, but man, it's $1 or $2. It adds up when there's 200-300 people.
Yeah, exactly. Does a lot. Yeah, so that's that. But then again, I'm an optimist. I do believe that super cool things can happen. Not just by wishing, which is something, you know, oh, you just protect your vision and all that shit. Oh, you gotta work hard, man. I mean, you gotta work harder than everyone if you want to make it happen. I just remember my dad. I picture my dad clearly saying, el respeto se gana con trabajo. Respect is earned by working. Maybe not harder, just also like obviously intelligently, which is the best thing to do. But work, man. Work is the way to get things done. All right, production. Thank you, everyone. So we got 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 qué?
Segundos? Minutes.
All right, so we're closing this in 5 minutes. So please tell us your last questions over here. Robert and I are going to answer. Thank you for being over here. Robert, thank you as always for just helping me out to get this done. Doing it in English. I'm not able to do this in English with anyone over here. And also, a lot of people is afraid of the camera. I know that there's like a lot of people actually seeing this and not interacting. So please hit the bell, subscribe, follow us, and this is our oxygen, man. And we would like to get to know you guys and answer your questions, at least with our point of view. We might be wrong, obviously, so just take everything with a grain of salt and do it yourself. But if in a way this helps you out, in a way it gives you hope.
Why not?
That brought us here. So.
And Jorge, once again, thank you for inviting me to do this Liga LATAM with you. It's awesome. And yes, the camera is
kind of intimidating.
It's intimidating. It's scary. I've been told I have a face for radio.
You have a face for radio, right?
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I look forward to every Thursday coming here talking to you.
Thank you.
Spending an hour with you,
My pleasure.
talking about awesome discussions. I know you gave me those 50 points, and each one definitely is an hour
Pretty
long.
cool, right? I mean, we have like 50 chapters by now.
Everyone definitely is an hour long podcast.
Thank you, guys.
Where can I send you some tips?
Oh, where can I send you some? Send us some tips.
I'll send you my Venmo.
Maldito
Mauricio,
perro.
I'll send you my Cash App.
Te mandamos un abrazo, mi Mau. Gracias por esto, gracias por compartir, gracias por estar aquí.
Te mando el OnlyFans, güey.
Sí, te lo mandamos. Está un poco más sexy que esto. Muchísimas gracias a todos por estar aquí. Va la versión en español. Acuérdense de darle clic a la campanita y suscribirse, por favor, donde sea que nos estén viendo. YouTube. Si están escuchando esto en Spotify, Google Podcast o cualquier cosa, déjenos ahí un comentario. Nos ayuda muchísimo y nos motiva para seguir haciendo estas locuras. La verdad es que pues queremos compartir. Yo creo que a muchos de nosotros nos hubiera gustado contar con más información, que hubiera más estudios cuando empezamos, y pues es lo que estamos tratando de hacer, poder compartirles nuestra experiencia, buena o mala. Acuérdense que es lo que a nosotros nos tocó, que nosotros digamos que se puede o que no se puede, quiere decir que nosotros pudimos o no pudimos, y eso no quiere decir que tú puedas o no puedas. Entonces, cálalo tú, háganlo ustedes. Thanks everyone who's actually speaking English. Remember that there are like a lot of people in Latin America that can actually speak English. Please don't be afraid, just reach out and let's just work together. Let's just do some games, right?
We'll see you next week. Once again, this is Jorge Suarez. I'm Robert Gomez from Liga LATAM.
Peace.
Nos vemos.
Gracias, hasta luego.